doing?
I've been supporting Villages in Partnership since 2018.
I've been with the organization since the beginning.
Since the year 2016.
Since 2012.
Since 2013.
Since 2011.
For 18 months now.
Since 2018.
VIP works in 26 remote rural villages in Malawi, Africa, impacting over 21,000 lives as we come alongside the poor and most vulnerable. The communities identify and prioritize their challenges, and together with Villages in Partnership, we work toward solutions and sharing resources. Giving Tuesday offers us the chance to build the kingdom of God. This day gives us the opportunity to spend our resources on making tangible change in the lives of others. As we've begun construction on One Heart Secondary School, we need your help in order to continue. Your gifts will help to build a library and an assembly hall. They'll also provide books, desks, uniforms, and scholarships for those who do not have access to an education. In this season of giving, give the gift of hope.
Together, we are creating a bright future for me and for many others.
We are a community of moms,
Administrators.
Bookkeepers.
Educators.
Accounting professionals.
Students.
Churches.
Beekeepers.
Volunteers and staff.
We're a community of doctors committed to helping hundreds of families lift themselves out of extreme poverty.
Join us!
We are VIP family.
Hello, VIP!
Welcome to Giving Tuesday, everybody. I just see so many friends and family already joining us. We're so glad that you're here tonight. What a day we have had. We started out early in the morning with a Zoom meeting with Mr. Mwalabu and our VIP staff in Malawi. And then we had a lunch meeting with 3 of our university students, and that was so powerful, just hearing the challenges that they have faced, growing up as orphans in thatched roof houses, and it's just miraculous that they are in college right now. And so much of that they attribute to the VIP family. And so we're so thankful that you're here tonight and to hear updates about what's going on, what you are doing in the villages, and from my most recent trip, what I experienced while I was there. I just want to talk a little bit about this evening, as I see a lot of you have already started becoming interactive. We really want to encourage that the whole night. We want to encourage you, if you are on Facebook or our YouTube links, you can be active and be writing comments or questions to us throughout the evening. If you're on our web page, you can't comment. So if you want to switch and go on to our YouTube or Facebook page, then you can be much more interactive with us. I don't know if any of you saw the countdown. It had beautiful graphics that were made, especially for Villages in Partnership, by Ava Nelson. Ava went to school for graphic design, and now I think she's studying statistics or something totally different. But we just have so many people who volunteer and make this possible, make what is happening in the villages possible. Rich Hetty was up early this morning down at the VIP office at 7:30 a.m. to meet Aaron to get ready for all our live streams. And so I just want to give a big shout out to all our volunteers. So glad that you guys are here tonight. We have Brielle LaCroix, who is one of our high school students who's doing an internship with VIP. So we've just been so blessed, and we hope that your time here tonight is also a blessing to you. I just want to first start out the evening by giving a little shout out to my grandson, Bial. He's in Utah, and my daughter told me that he's watching with us tonight. And I just want to again say thank you and encourage you to participate. We have already met our matching gift of $25,000. So right now, with the matching gift of $25,000, we are up to $51,783. Woohoo! So I'm sure you can imagine how far a dollar goes in the village. And so by the end of tonight, we are hoping to raise $75,000. So keep spreading the word, everybody. Keep spreading the word. I'm going to do a little bit of screen sharing with you tonight so I can share pictures of what is happening in the villages. So let me go to my screen share right now. I wanted to start out just by sharing with you. I get so many questions about what is happening with COVID in Malawi. And when COVID first hit, we were really frightened by what it might do in Southern Africa. In Malawi, so many of the people with whom we work have compromised immune systems. Their systems are weak from malnutrition or malaria or HIV/AIDS. And so we were just so worried that COVID was going to sweep the country and take lives. But as you can see, in a country where the population is over 19 million, they've had less than 200 deaths. It's just been amazing. Scientists and experts have been watching what's happening in Southern Africa, and we're not really sure why. There are a couple of theories. One is that their way of life. They just spend so much time outdoors. Anybody who has traveled with me into the villages can attest when you go visit somebody, you don't go in their house. You sit outside on a bamboo mat. And it's only in the cities where you end up going into buildings. And that's pretty much where COVID has been contained. The other reason that experts believe it hasn't spread is lack of transportation. And so in that way, because of lack of development, the disease has not spread widely into the villages. So we are really grateful to God for that blessing over Malawi. And again, feel free to bring your questions at any point, or maybe you even have a comment about your theory of why COVID hasn't spread. We'd love to hear from you. Our staff works very hard with our villages. Every time we were going down into the villages, we were conducting meetings. We were talking about the importance of wearing masks and distributing masks, the importance of hand washing. This is our staff. We have 17 members of staff right now. Mr. Molabu has just been named country director. We have a great team, and they are so hardworking. There's Mr. Molabu, chief country director. Many of you know him. I'll tell you, when I was down in the villages, I was just amazed at what was happening. As you can see, here's one of our lead farmers. And we had a group of lead farmers who were offering different like stations where they were teaching other farmers from the villages about most improved or efficient farming techniques. And it was amazing when the people had questions, the lead farmers would almost be talking over one another, wanting to share their knowledge. They are just so empowered. Frank Jamaica has done such a wonderful job with empowering our lead farmers that they feel so much ownership. Here's Sekoso, Charles Sekoso. He is our livestock officer. This farmer was dealing with a chicken whose eyes had closed due to an illness, a disease caused from malnutrition. And the chickens can easily be healed when treated, but if untreated, they starve to death and they die. So this particular Saturday when I was down in the villages, Sekoso is treating chickens. We have these lead farmers being trained. We have this group of VIP beekeepers who have started a cooperative and are selling their honey. Just so much is going on. We are just coming into the planting season. They are expecting rains any day now. It was so steamy hot while I was there, and all over the villages, this is the scene you see. People hoeing, working so hard in their fields, preparing for the rains, preparing to plant. So they wait for the first set of rains and then they plant. Unfortunately, it hasn't rained yet, and this is very late. Usually the rains start the end of October. But due to climate change, they are really experiencing challenges, and the rains have not yet come this year. So we are really praying that this does not lead to a terrible year of famine. One of the common scenes that you see here is people, it's the mango season. And people are knocking mangoes down because this is a sign of hunger. You know, their next harvest has not come in yet. Maybe they've run out of maize, and so they are having to get fruit from the trees. So they knock down mangoes, and this woman, she saw me taking pictures of her, and we stopped to chat, and so she was bringing me over some mangoes. The people there are just so kind and generous. All over the villages, wherever I go, you see VIP water holes. We have done so much through your efforts from the water walk that we see wells all over the villages. One of the things that we are also doing that's in connection with COVID, but also just in sanitation, is that we are teaching the people to put up these hand washing stations outside of their pit latrines so that after they use the pit latrine, they come out and will immediately wash their hands. Just things that we take for granted that they don't have because they don't have running water in their houses. Another thing that we were teaching them is to build these simple dish racks out of bamboo. You know, if they don't have these, they place their dishes on the ground, and then chickens and goats are walking around, and it's unsanitary and it gets them sick. So simple things like this are all around sanitation. In terms of your impact from the water walk this year, this is a tap. And you can see here that the tap is leaking, that it's causing a mud hole there, which is breeding grounds for mosquitoes. And so we are working with the government on where they already had piped water being brought down from the Zomba Plateau through a reservoir, but maybe taps were broken, pipes were cracked. So we are working with them and the communities to bring in tapped water. So this village was lucky enough that the water flow was so excellent that we put in 2 taps. One of our requirements for with VIP in the villages is that we provide sweat equity. So here you can see that the villagers are carrying the pipes. And of course, everything is always a song and a dance. And so as they're bringing the pipes to where they're going to dig, what do you call that? Like a trench. Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Dig a trench. They were placing the pipes. Then they had to get the cement and bring it for the tapped water. And you can see this is heavy, hard work that they are doing. This is not easy, but water is so important to them that they want to do this. And then here's a celebration when these taps were turned on, and the villagers are all gathering around and celebrating with our VIP staff the delivery of water. This is all because of what you have done over through the water walk. And you can just see the joy and gratitude from these people. So I deliver their thanks to you. This is a borehole that we just put in, and this woman was so filled with joy as they were pumping water. She went and put her head under the water and was just washing her hair under it as a sign of gratitude and joy. We have a video that I want to share with you. Some of you saw it during the water walk, but it just gives you an idea of the impact that water has on lives.
We used to walk a distance of 3 kilometers to the river to draw water, which was not treated. But now you can see that we have this borehole and we have this bucket for the chlorine. When we draw water here, we put some chlorine here, and then our water is treated. And now, because of the VIP, we are having clean water. So you can see the great job you are doing to us. And you can see all these ladies here. They are happy.
When Villages in Partnership is invited into the villages of Malawi, the #1 request is access to clean water. Madzi indi moyo. Water is life. Since the inception of VIP, nothing has been more important to improving life for our friends in the villages than providing access to clean water. Drawing water from unprotected sources causes diarrhea and cholera, which are especially dangerous and deadly for children under the age of 5. When girls have to walk too far for water, they drop out of school. In the past 10 years, VIP has drilled 43 wells and repaired and rehabilitated over 40 other safe water access points, impacting over 21,000 lives. VIP drills past the water table into the aquifer so that the wells provide safe, crystal clear water all year long, even during times of drought. Thousands of women and girls have had their lives transformed. Thanks to clean water sources, health has improved. Families no longer drink from contaminated sources, and the distance and time it takes to draw water has been significantly reduced. With the time saved by shortening the walk to the well, women have been able to start businesses, and children, especially girls, can go to school now every day. Access to clean water is transforming thousands of lives, and much of that transformation is due to your gifts. The villagers lift up their voices in gratitude and hope.
Thank you for the support that you render to me. The fact is that you have transformed my life completely. God bless you for the job well done.
It is amazing how having access to clean water transforms lives. You know, putting in wells, not only does it provide access to clean water, it impacts people's health. Children aren't getting sick from waterborne diseases, diarrhea, and that can often kill children under 5. Here we have a question from Kim Daly. Do people from villages outside of our catchment area use VIP wells? Yes, they do, particularly the villages who are right on the border of our impact area. They use our, the people in the villages they don't tell people that they can't use the water. And so other people come in if their nearest water source is too far. The other beautiful thing about water is that it really impacts children's ability to go to school. If a well is too far and a girl has to walk too far to get water, she won't have time to go to school. So bringing water close to people allows children to go to school, particularly girls. I want to just go back to our screen sharing. I think before I go back to my PowerPoint, I'd like to, I'll do that later when we're talking about the schools. I wanted to share our Google Earth with you, but I'll do that later. So let me screen share. So water, bringing access to clean water is something that's fairly easy to do. You just put in a well or fix tapped water. Food security, which is another one of the areas where VIP puts a lot of investment in training, in staff, and in money, is in food security, because it is much more complicated. As I mentioned, most of our villagers, most of the people are subsistence farmers, and they rely on the weather. And with these dramatic weather changes, food security has become very challenging. So in this picture, we're looking at a solar irrigation system that we recently put into Samani village. We have 70 farmers identified to work with this system over 5 hectares. As you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, all farmers are required to practice conservation agriculture, which retains moisture and also returns nutrients into the soil. Here, the farmers that are connected with the solar irrigation have started a nursery where they can begin their plants early. Here, they're irrigating their maize. Some grew onions, some grew maize, and close to the screen, you can see that some are even growing tomatoes. Here's one of our college graduates who is working with irrigation, and he's showing the crop that he has. and the women behind him are buying it from him. So it's just so exciting to see how lives are being dramatically impacted. Here's a farmer who is he was in the irrigation system, and he was growing watermelons, and watermelons are an unusual crop, and they are a cash crop. They bring in significant money because they're out of season. Another thing that we do with food security is we distribute livestock. So years ago, this group of women received a cow, and with every calf, each one of the women gets a calf. So now they are taking care of their own cows. We learned in the beginning that the group was really struggling who had ownership, who was going to clean out the cow pen, who was going to feed the cow. And so the women themselves came to VIP and asked, is it okay if we break up and just have our own cow? So little by little, each one of them got the next calf. And we still go in there and train them how to make silage for during the hungry season. But here's a picture, one of the cows just calved, and they'll be passing that on to one of the women. And now all 5 women will have their own cows. Of course, you all know that we are constantly distributing goats. And this was a goat pass-on program where the next most vulnerable family was receiving a goat. This is a new initiative, biochar. It's using the corn cobs, a resource that they readily have that don't decompose easily, and they put them in underground and create a kind of a kiln that turns them into biochar that then they put in the fields, and that also returns nutrients and holds moisture. And I had women take me this season to show me how well their kitchen gardens and their crops were doing because they were using biochar. Our beekeepers are such a fun group of people. They've joined together and developed a cooperative so they can become professional and work on marketing their honey together. An article in the newspaper was about them. I brought several jars of honey from them. So they're just doing really well. They talk about how, they want to expand their market and find new markets. That's always a challenge for the villagers. In health, we have the clinical side of health, and we're also working on preventions. So here we have a clinician and 2 clinicians that are going around and seeing people who cannot get to the clinic. Usually they're elderly people or people who are too sick. And we pay, these clinicians are through the government, and we just pay their transportation fee to go out and make these home visits. We have a dental clinic that goes into 2 remote villages once a month so that people can have their teeth treated. And then here is our preventative work. These are a group of women who have been identified as cluster leaders. They will go back to their villages and work with small groups of women in their villages on different issues that they've been trained on here. So here they were learning about different challenges with pregnant women and high blood pressure and how to deal with that. We teach them about family planning, HIV/AIDS, all different kinds of health issues. Many of you know the story of Heswick, the little boy who was burned from a kerosene lamp his leg was so bad that he could not bend it because the scar tissue had contracted and he could not bend it. And the wounds were not healing. So we took him into Blantyre, where there's a hospital called Cure International. And they provide children under 18 free services. They specialize in orthopedics. And so Heswick qualified, and they took him and did surgery on his leg, and he is doing so well. He's still healing, and so we learned that we take him every other day to have his wounds dressed. Our Malawian staff do that. And while I went with them to take him one morning, and I noticed that when they took off his bandages, there were these little brown crystals around his wound. And I asked the clinician, what are those? And they said, oh, it's sugar. We were told that if we apply honey to the wound, it will keep his scar tissue pliable. But we ran out of honey, so we're using sugar. I'm pretty sure that sugar does not have the same qualities as honey. And I said, you know what? I just bought honey from our VIP cooperative. Let me run out and get it. So they were applying honey, and we were getting ready to get into the Land Cruiser and take Heswick back home so I could attend a meeting. And the clinicians came out and asked me if I would come back into the clinic. And there was a little baby in there that couldn't breathe. And you see that they're trying to use oxygen on the baby, but that's for an adult. And this baby was only a couple weeks old. So we put them into the Land Cruiser and delivered them to the hospital. And I arrived at my meeting an hour late, and people just know that, of course I was communicating with them, but people just know that things like that happen in Malawi. You always have a sense of God's timing. So we talked about how water allows children to go to school. And the one thing about Villages in Partnership that makes it so special is that we just don't provide wells so that children can go to school, but we also provide schools so that they have a place to go. The children where we are building this secondary school, I talked with several of them. I went to the nearest secondary school. It's a 2-hour walk, and many of them told me that they end up dropping out because they just cannot continue that and walk home and then be required to do all the chores. So this is the administrative building, and it also has space for 2 science laboratories. The labs aren't furnished yet. That's one thing that during Giving Tuesday we're raising money for, is to furnish the labs. Here we have what we call 2 blocks, and each block contains 2 classrooms. So we're providing 4 classrooms. And as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, those are pit latrines. The students will be using pit latrines to go to the bathroom during school. We've furnished this first classroom for our Form 1s. They will start school hopefully in February. The government is announcing that they will open up secondary schools in February, and we will be receiving our first set of students. We'll only be receiving freshmen or Form 1s, and then each year we'll add on a new grade. Here are our administrative building And then here are teacher houses. You have to build teacher houses, or else teacher absenteeism is very high, because teachers themselves either walk or ride a bicycle. And so you have to build teacher houses so that they can easily get to the school. I want to stop sharing here and tell you, share, do another screen share. Did we have any questions or anything I need to? We're going to just answer some questions. Jeff Smucker, with the classes not starting till February, will those students be able to complete the year studies? Yes, they will. Because of COVID, they closed all the schools. And then the 8th graders went back to school early in November and took the entrance exams to get into secondary school. So no students, no Form 1s have started school yet. And so they'll be getting into their school calendar has changed, but they're trying to get children back into school now. And about how many freshmen are you expecting? So we've been in negotiations with the government. We are trying to keep a cap on the number of students, because you can sometimes get overloaded and then the quality of teaching goes down. So we have agreed with the government that the cap will be 60 students in each grade. And have teachers been identified? Yes, to teach. Yes, they have. They are ready. We have a head teacher and teachers have been identified. Do they follow the same school calendar, September to May? They did, but now with the closing of schools because of COVID, it seems like they're on a completely new calendar. So I'm going to screen share with you a Google Earth that's going to show you just where things are that we're doing with VIP. So I'm going to go back to So I'm going to start us on the United States and bring us to Southern Africa. And then we're going to zoom into Malawi. You can see that big lake, Lake Malawi. And our catchment area is way in the southern part of Malawi, near it's in the district of Zomba. So this is our impact area. The darker the color, the more densely populated the villages. So we are in 26 villages. This is about 17 square miles and impacts about 21,000 people, over 4,000 households. The one thing I want to show you, you can see where my mouse is, where this yellow tack is. That's where our new secondary school is being built. Now I'm going to show you the surrounding schools. So these blue schools are the closest secondary schools where students have to walk. So these villages around here, they have secondary schools where they can go. These villages, these are all villages in these areas. They have a secondary school. So, but these villages, they don't. And so you can see that our secondary school is in a primary location. The other thing that the government looks at before they give you their agreement that you can build a secondary school with them is that they look at where are the feeder primary schools. So the red are all the primary schools in our catchment area. And so you can see that we have, this is Chimpeni Primary School. This is a primary school where Emma was teaching. And so you can see that we have primary schools that are feeding into our secondary school. I also want to point out that this green thing over here, this is where we just purchased the new agricultural land where we will be having a training and research farm. And you can see that this is surrounded by developed farmland. Like none of the villages, even though they're subsistence farmers, none of them look like this. This is all owned by Chimpenny Farm or much larger scale farmers, estate owners. So we were able to purchase land from one of those, a Malawian estate owner, where we're going to do our demonstration farm. And it's really nice because it's so close to our secondary school that hopefully our students will be able to come there and learn from us. So I'll stop that sharing. How many primary schools will be feeding into the secondary school? That question was asked this morning to Mr. Malabu. I don't remember, because there are primary schools from outside of our catchment area that are also going to be feeding into this secondary school. So I'm not sure. And how many of those primary schools receive support from there? All of the primary schools in our catchment area receive support from VIP. We've put on solar panels on teacher houses so that they have that teachers will want to be teaching in the rural area. We've added lights to some of our 7th and 8th grade classrooms so that those students can teach. What's that mean, Christine? 9 through 10.
Secondary or feeder schools.
Oh, 9 to 10 feeder schools are going to be feeding our primary school. And I want everybody to keep in mind that that doesn't mean that all those students will go to our primary school. You have to first take a test to get into secondary school. Some of those students will go to much boarding schools. Some of those students, ours is a secondary day school. The school is named One Heart. During our gala, actually, somebody bid on naming, it was Valley Presbyterian Church bid on naming the school. And they turned that naming right back to the communities. And the communities wanted to name it One Heart, representing the relationship that they have with Villages in Partnership. So, will there be agricultural education classes at the secondary school? Yes, we hope so, Tim. In fact, the chairman of our international board was telling me that we hope the head teacher will be teaching agricultural classes right at the school, and including, information on trees and beekeeping, and that we can also bring them up to our farm. So yes. Marty, great to see you here tonight. What is the content of the high school curriculum? Is it established by the teachers? No. It is a nationwide curriculum handed to them through the government. Are the subjects relevant to their lives? Well, let me tell you, that is a great question. So one of our VIP family is a scientist. She works for pharmaceutical companies developing drugs where for diseases that don't have drugs yet. And she has come over and she first started teaching science classes to the students, and the teachers came to her and asked her, can you help us figure out how to teach certain subjects like electricity? because we didn't grow up with electricity. We ourselves don't understand electricity. Many of them didn't have it in their homes. And so, electricity is a hard enough concept for me, let alone them. And they don't have any hands-on activities. So Trudy made these hands-on activities, brought over batteries, wires, things for them to do, experiments, taught the teachers. Now the teachers teach their students in our impact area how to teach electricity. She also did other subjects like magnetism, very difficult concepts. So no, not all the subjects directly apply to their lives, but they have to know it in order to get into secondary school. And secondary school, they have to know the subjects in order to get into college. To get into college, it's very, very competitive. There are very few colleges in Malawi, and so it's very competitive nowadays to get into college. In closing, I wanted to just share. We got a question about how much is, this is a picture of some of our university students. I just wanted to share with you. This is what it costs to educate children. $185. This is average. So this year we're sending, I think, over 70 students to secondary school. So some of them get into boarding schools, some of them are going to secondary day schools. This is an average of what it costs to send a child to high school for 1 year. The same thing with college. The highest tuition that we pay for a student is $2,600. So this is an average of what we pay. We have 21 students that we are supporting in college this year. It's just amazing. I want to go back and show you some of these students. They dress like our kids, and they speak beautiful English. But when you go to their home, you're amazed at what humble beginnings they come from. You can't believe it. And so here's another one of our students. And it's a miracle that they made it into college. And so, to pay $1,000 to send a student to school for a year, it changes their lives. Not only their lives, their whole family's lives, the village's life. And if you were on our live stream with the students this afternoon, all three of them talked about feeling called by God to serve, to come back and serve their communities. The student who was in the College of Medicine, she's studying to be a doctor, and she talked about how I am called by God to save lives. I am not in this to make money. I am here to save lives. It was really powerful. So I just want to thank all of you for being with us tonight. For all of those, many of you have already given. Some of you have given twice today. I want to thank you for what you are doing to the people in Malawi. You are lifting whole communities out of this extreme poverty. We want to close with something fun. We'll use it as our closing prayer. Whenever we're in Malawi, the villages, they teach us this song called Tiri Kwenda Kwala Kwambuye, and it means walking in the light of God. And so we made a video of some of them singing it and some of our Americans singing it. Enoch Smith, our music director at Allentown Presbyterian Church, helped us make this video. So this will be our closing prayer. Will it come up? So I invited Aaron and Carissa to just hop in with me and say thank you to everybody. Aaron just gave me an update. Within this last hour, $5,000 more came in, and we're up to over $56,000. So thank you, everybody. God bless you. Merry Christmas. And may God be with us all as we continue to bless others and they bless us. Thank you to the VIP family. Good night, everyone.